Alright, YouTube. Thanks for getting here on this very cold, rainy day in Indiana. Again, today I wanted to touch upon my last two videos again because I get a lot of comments on these, and a lot of people asked some really good questions, and there's some that are a little out there. So I kind of wanted to go down this route. Alright, one, if a person is sending me a picture of a guy that lives right there and asks me what I think about him, my thought is immediately going to be this. There are two eyewitnesses that have already seen that guy and did not say, yeah, he's the one I saw. So if you have a picture of somebody that lives right there, surrounding that area that either of the two witnesses would have seen 100 times in their life and had seen prior, they did not commit the Delphi murders. Sorry. No. It's just not possible. Alright? So remember, there are two eyewitnesses that seen this guy. Thus we have the composite sketch. Okay, he's also on that, I ain't even going to call it a picture or an image. We're going to say in that, like, mock-up of a picture that, law enforcement says, we need somebody to identify him. Good luck. 35,000 people have, and it's all been crap, law enforcement. Thanks for jerking our chain. Way to go, law enforcement. You're really playing this to the hill. So, yeah, there's two eyewitnesses, people. Two. So, if it's somebody that's right there, they didn't do it. They didn't do it. If they live on County Road 300, they would have been hit a long ass time ago. Totally. So there you go. Yeah, alright. Anyway, allow me to expand a little further here. This is my thoughts. And mind you, trolls, for the love of it's speculation! Alright? He was probably right there at the bend, at the trails, watching the girls, because they had already walked by. It fit his image, at least one of them did, as to what he wanted in a victim. He followed those girls up there, watching behind him, because at that time there was nobody behind him. There was no one to his front but the girls. He walked up to the bend and was watching them. Now, Libby took Abby's picture on the tracks right there at 207, okay? And he's not in the background. He's nowhere back there, but he was on the north side of that bridge. This is why I speculate he was at the bend watching them. Once the girls turned and headed over toward the south side of the bridge, that's when it hit him. He looked behind, make sure nobody was coming, and scrambled across that bridge very quickly, looking back behind him to see if anybody was coming up. Tipped Libby off. She put her phone on video record. And that's how we got that image of the guy. So, from 207, back here at the bend, he then, once they start heading out there, he follows right back in behind them, gets back over to the south side of the bridge, abducts him, takes him down that hill, down the bigger hill, all the way to the bottom to a secondary car path, turns him right, takes him down to the creek, crosses. The crime was committed right there where the bodies was left. This is what I speculate. Right there. Now, a person got a hold of me and said that 40 minutes and the whole timestamp, they had a hard time with that. And you know what? I do as well. Because going from the bend, walking across, going down that whole way, getting over here, committing the crime, covering the bodies, heading up, going back to the 501 and being seen leaving at 2:47 p.m., that's a very short time frame. It leaves very little out as far as motive. Now, initially, I had thought it had to be a sexual motivation. Sexually motivated. You got an older guy, two younger girls. You know what? An older guy doesn't just go out to just go kill two young girls. It's never his motive, I'm just going to go kill a couple, young girls today. There's always an inner motive. which I assume to be sexual. So, this is why right off I was saying that there would probably be a mountain of DNA there. Now, the guy doesn't really appear to have, again, you can't tell anything in that picture, law enforcement, thank you. Thanks for sticking with that. Thanks for not giving us video, you jackasses. Thanks for not trying to clear this case up and get that fucker arrested. You know, nothing pisses me off more than that right now. Law enforcement is on my deep-ass fucking shit list. Every one of you. Law enforcement. Not you guys, man. You guys are cool. You guys are all cool, man. We've hung out for years. So anyway, there that is. That there was a short little window there once he got him to the other side of the creek. Now, I have a theory. Mind you, it's just a theory that something could have happened right there at the point where the bodies was found. I won't give her name, but I will use her initials, KW. She had said, had my son have gotten home a little earlier, he would have caught them going down the hill because they have that private drive. Now, we know that he arrived a short time after that, a very small time right after they was abducted. What if his car was going down that path and one of the girls yelled to try to get the attention of the driver? That could have set the guy off. The guy could have hit one of them, the other could have screamed. The windows probably were up in the vehicle as it was February, and the guy may not have heard anything. You know, because it was a distance from, you know, the private drive over across the way, across the creek to where they were at. But if one of them had yelled to try to get the attention of the driver, that could have tipped things off immediately. He could have struck one of them, the other could have yelled, and it just became what it is, what it was, a double murder. Now, after killing 2 young girls, you know, his motives be damned at that point, he had to get the hell out of there. And that's what I think may have happened. I don't know it to happen. I wasn't there. I am using the best guesswork that I have in the same way that investigators do. Because anybody says, well, where's your proof? You're just speculating. Do you know anybody that knows everything on this? Because if you do, guess what? You're looking at the fucking bridge guy, asshole. Law enforcement and trolls, man, hop on. Get the fuck out of here. You know, I don't mind trolls. I mean, I just evaporate their comments. I mean, you know, it's a view. I don't care. But still, for the love of God, when somebody says something that makes total effing sense, don't be the fucking dick to add to. God. Anyway, let me get back to my point. I'm a little bitter today. I am. It's a cloudy, shitty day, and, you know, I was just expecting a better day, is all. But I'm making a video. So, anyway, let's see. One more time. Although it is possible, and I say possible, not that it happened, nothing like that, that he could have lived on County Road 300. Because after flannel shirt guy passed him on the 501 and, you know, the suspect was heading toward Freedom Bridge, he could have made a right. Right there on the County Road 300 if he lived right there. I mean, if he lived right in those houses, he could have been home in a minute. But, save it to say, KW, or excuse me, I don't want to confuse that. I'm not saying that she is an eyewitness, but the thing is, there was the 2 eyewitnesses, and the one flannel shirt guy is always at the trails. Always. He is the face there. He knows people that go there. He would recognize any face that was there a lot. He would have seen it. I don't think that he had ever seen the suspect before that. I don't know. I never asked him. And if I did ask him, he would say, I ain't an eyewitness. Because both of them were told, don't say anything. Okay? don't say nothing to anybody about this. Nothing. Nada. You don't even know anything. That's what cops told him to say. So we know that the suspect was there, but he was trying not to be seen as a local face there. He didn't want people to see him there. He was there to commit a crime in due time. I think that the first woman that happened up on him, and I totally believe that, she walked up to the area where he was. He did not see her coming, but when he saw her, he knew that she had already seen him. He stood his ground there as not to walk away and look suspicious. So she did walk by, she did talk to him for a minute, and she did get an ID that was used for the composite sketch. So we know that there was two people that seen him. Now, if that guy got to Freedom Bridge, there's only a couple ways out, man. Now, a person did write to me, and I looked that over, and I want that person to know that, because you could go from there, walk over, hit those tracks, go up to Anderson, so on and so on like that. But the thing is that is a very long walk, and from going down those railroad tracks, especially in February, you would have been seen by the highway. People would have seen you. People on County Road 300 could have seen you. There was a lot of area where you could have been seen. I'm not saying it did not happen, but all I'm getting at is that it appears to me to be less likely that he went that route. But again, if there was no vehicle and he didn't hitchhike and he didn't go that route, then he had to at least walk in toward Delphi. Now, if he lived out in the country surrounding Delphi, he still would have been on a county road that, you know, people would have seen him walking on and said, yeah, you know what, I seen a guy that looked like that was walking this way the other day. Everybody in this county has seen a picture of that guy. Everybody. Every single person. If they live in Carroll County, be damn true, they have seen the pictures of that guy. They're in every store. They were like pasted around. They was on the news. Everybody's seen it. You can't identify that man on that picture. But what you could do is say, yeah, I seen a guy that was dressed like that at approximately right after that time was walking down this county road. Wherever he went, he abruptly disappeared. Gone. Now, if he had a vehicle, yeah, that would be very logical to say, yeah, he got in a vehicle and left. A person says, well, couldn't he have hit a car? It's possible he could have hit in a car. However, I want to point out that the guy was at those trails a lot. He knew that area fully. He had been there, he had hiked, and he had spent some time at that trails waiting. So my point is that if he was going to hide a car, he would have always had to have hid that car. If he always hid that car, there would have been a spot where that car was hidden. In due time of hiding it that many times, somebody's going to come across it, especially in February. There's like no leaves on. You know, any place that you would hide a car, a person could see it from hither to thither through the woods, because it's not that far back into the woods that you could go without it being seen. So, again, I'm not saying positively, I'm not saying 100%. I can't. I don't know the guy. I wasn't there, people. But what I can say is, it appears to me that he went back across Freedom Bridge, probably followed the Samuel Milroy Trail, went up to Richardson's Creek, went to the west side of it, crossed that road right there, which is almost really, it's a very short road. If you look at it on Google Maps right there, it goes right back over from this road to this road. And I think that there's only one or two houses that are on it. Now, if he got back up to that and crossed that and hit the tracks and went into town, that is the way he could have got into town, into the residential area without being seen. Again, not saying that that's how it happened exactly, but you know what? My best guesswork on this and looking at it leads me to believe it likely is. God, man, I need a fucking Valium time. I don't think nicotine's helping. Nicotine. You know what? I smoked my last cigarette on August the 14th, 11 p.m. at night. I sat right here, smoked it, and snuffed it. And I said, that's my last cigarette ever. And you know what? It has been. I feel strong about it. I don't even have a want for a cigarette. Got nicotine, and you know what? in due time, I can cut this nicotine down, be done. Thank you. You know what? Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I really do, man. You know what? They said I had support, but you know what? I had no idea it was like from YouTube as well. And you know, I'm certainly grateful of any and all support that I have out there. Thank you. So, let's see. Anything else on that I wanted to touch upon? I wrote Sheriff Lesenby today. Actually, probably about an hour or 2 hours ago. And I asked him if he had reached CC Moore, to get her on that. Because if they could run any DNA, and again, you know what? I'm not on everybody else's page. Everybody's like, well, I don't think they have DNA. I think that DNA's been stepped on. I don't think it's good DNA. Well, the thing is if that DNA is not in a criminal database, you're not going to get shit from DNA, people. Kim Moore told me at the press conference, it's like the man had never committed a crime before. So I said to him, what are you saying? His DNA's not in the database? Well, I can't touch upon that. Well, you already have. You already did say that. You already touched upon that. So if the guy had never committed a violent sexual offense to where that they had to take his DNA, it's not in the database, people. You can't find it. But what you can find with the familial DNA is that family line. Male to male to male to male to male. It all matches back. You find that family line, just like they did with John D. Miller, CC Moore. They went up there, they got that DNA, and they traced it right down to him and his brother. And she said it's probably one of these two men right here. Got in their garbage. John D. Miller had 6 used condoms in his garbage. Look, let me tell you something right now. That stupid, weird fucker was not out there having sex with a woman who could have got pregnant. He has a condom fixation for whatever reason. He left used condoms in the mailboxes back in the day. Okay? The guy is not wrapped right. But they got his DNA and said, yeah, that's our man right there. That's all it took. I want CC Moore on this case. I want her to run his familial DNA on whatever it is that they have. And I want this monster arrested. And that's what I told Lesenby. I said, you know what? A year and a half in, it's been nothing but disappointment, man. And you know what? I, for one, was expecting Delphi to solve this rather quickly. With all the evidence they have, with the evidence that I'm looking at and I'm telling you about, this shouldn't have took a year and a half. It really shouldn't have. Also, on the man moving away, I had somebody go, yeah, nobody just gets up and moves away. That was a crazy theory. That's stupid. Right there. Look, if a guy commits this crime, knows that his picture was taken, knows that there was 2 eyewitnesses that seen him, that they have a composite sketch of him, guess what? He isn't hanging around. He isn't waiting to run into an eyewitness. He isn't waiting for someone to point a finger at him and say, hey, that's the dude right there. He's moving. Maybe he didn't move really far away. I mean, I ain't thinking that the guy had money enough to like head out to another state or whatnot, but hey, maybe he did. I don't know the guy. I don't know his money. But I know that generally speaking, a person that commits a crime like this is not really the rich dude. They're not really wrapped super tight upstairs. He's not all high-tech. He isn't like some computer hacker that's out there like doing this to little girls. Those people are not correct upstairs. Find one. Anyone that's been arrested for this. You find me a bloody computer hacker or something like that, hey, you know what? I'll send you some money. Because you know what? You found a legitimate, rarity. These people are normally just not correct upstairs. Genetically, in their head, a little bit screwed. So I would suspect that he knows that he's in the news, and he knows the 2 eyewitnesses, he knows there's pictures out there and the sketch, so on and so on. He was probably gone before that. I'm thinking Logan, Lafayette, Kokomo within a surrounding area. Again, could be wrong. You know, probably the reason he was leaving, he would tell people, with job, family, something like that. It had to have been something different than I'm the bridge guy and they're going to hit me if I stick around. But again, do I know that to be true? You know what? I really don't. I can't tell you that. I can't say it 100%. It's a shitty day, dude. Just look around, man. I'm out in the drizzle rain. I don't know off the top of my head. Because, and this is going back, I think it was late last fall or early last winter in 2017. Me and Greeno was looking at stuff online. He showed me the picture that Cheyenne had took. And I said, you mean there was somebody there right after? And I forget off the top of my head what the timestamp was on that picture she took at the south side of the bridge, right there at Monon High Bridge. It was the railroad bridge where they was abducted. Pretty much the same spot, and she was facing north where she had took that picture. She said, I was there just before 3 and I didn't see anything. Well, that picture was at, maybe it was right before 3 or a couple minutes after 3, but somewhere within that little time frame. And I'm like, well, that's very important because there was no leaves on. So if she was walking up through there and anybody was local and walking through the woods, especially with leaves on the ground, I mean, you would see them. You would hear them. You know, if anybody was within a distance from you walking. So I said, if she came from Freedom Bridge down to the Monon High Bridge and didn't see anything at that time, this tells me something. Because we can add that to a timeline. Well, we know that Flannel Shirt arrived at Freedom Bridge, and we know the time that he headed from Freedom Bridge down to Monon High Bridge. And we know that he's seen the suspect leaving, meaning that he was on the air side of the midway point where the girls came in at, heading toward Freedom Bridge at 2:47. So we put that in a timeline because Cheyenne didn't see anything, okay? And she walked all the way down to the bridge, the south side of the bridge. Didn't see anything. But Flannel Shirt guy did and seen the guy leaving. So we have a time frame of where the guy came over, when he took him down, and when he was departing. All that fits into that time frame. And again, Cheyenne parked there at Freedom Bridge, as did Flannel Shirt guy. There was no car seen there. There was no car seen. And again, that doesn't say 100% that the guy didn't have a vehicle. But then again, anybody that knew that area and had covered it, and to the extent that the suspect did, he had been there quite a few times waiting. Quite a few times. Also makes sure about Mears and Ronald Logan, if anybody had asked permission from them to hunt on their property. I know that if you go back, it was about a year and a half prior to the murders, Ronald Logan had 2 ordeals with the police where he called them. 1, somebody had broken his house. 2, he was at his house and he seen a man that was out in an outbuilding that he didn't know. He called the police, and I guess maybe after he ran out to confront the guy, and the man fled on foot before law enforcement could arrive. This is in the daytime. This is a person that was there in the day that was up to no good. Okay? 2 different times. Could have been the same guy. But there's reason for me to believe that it could be the same guy. I don't know that. I mean, look, if you're asking me what I think about this or that, I can only tell you by what evidence there is to support that. I don't know the guy. I'm not a psychic. I don't even believe in psychics. I don't even believe in that crap. But what I do believe is in thoroughly investigating the evidence. Any evidence that I have You have as well. You know, you can look at the press conferences. You can look at what law enforcement has said. You can look at the facts on this. People will talk about like they was catfished online. That somebody knew they was gone. It was a hit against them. No, there was no hit against those two girls. It didn't happen like that. The suspect was there in advance. The girls came up with the idea and her sister took them there right after. That easy. Nobody knew that they was going to be there that day. Not even the girls knew that they was going to be there that day. They never threw it online. If they did and it was seen by the suspect who showed up to get them, they would have been hit in a minute by the FBI. Bam! You're hit, dude. It's over. It didn't happen like that. This was a crime of convenience. The guy had went there. He knew the area. Had it all in his head as to how it was going to play out. Once somebody showed up that fit his image of victim, and there was no one else around. If they get down to that bridge in an area where you can go over and get them, you take them right over to that point, because that point couldn't be seen from the trail or the bridge. You couldn't be seen from any area there. He knew that, and he knew his way out. He knew he wasn't going to get on a county road where he would have been seen walking. He wasn't going to do that. He wasn't going to go out to County Road 300 and walk out. He wasn't going to have a car right there. We know it wasn't that he didn't have a car parked in the cemetery, because we know that he was leaving toward Freedom Bridge, seen by flannel shirt guy. So we know the car was not at the cemetery. It's all, and I don't want to say simple. I mean, I'm not making it sound like it's all just elementary, but the point is that everything's got to fit the evidence that you know to be true. If it don't, and it's a good sounding theory, all it is a good sounding theory. You know? I've heard every theory imaginable. My God, I feel sorry for police. You know, I think that the difference between me and police is they probably don't get everybody and their brother coming in, beating on their door, telling them some stupid-ass theory. I have, man. In fact, I would really like to sit down one day and make a whole video just on some of the theories I have heard, man. You know what? It would blow your mind. It really would, man. It would completely just annihilate some people's mind of what I have heard. And theories that people got a hold of me talking about, like, well, what do you think about this? Holy shit. I gotta show people this. You know? I can't believe somebody actually wrote me some of that stuff. Anyway. That kind of wraps up what I wanted to talk about. And you know, again, one more time, look, when I come down here and I sit, and I'm just sitting here like this, just talking, that is what it is. I fundamentally know what it is I want to say. I'm not throwing every little piece of evidence into this to explain why, but I naturally assume that if you're watching this video, you are fully up to date on what I know, on the evidence, why I see it this way. So, you know, and again, I apologize if you're there, if you're out there and you're watching this and this is the first time you've seen one of my videos and you don't know exactly why, reach me in the comments, you know, because I can probably further explain my reasoning behind most of what I've said here. Anyway, I thank you all for viewing, and I will see you in my next video, which is coming up before long. And, yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Peace, y'all.